So over the last couple of weeks, I made some videos about both Nvidia and AMD and what their next generation lineup of video cards is going to look like. And it's looking like Nvidia is going to probably come out with a 3080 and possibly a 3090 as well. And on the AMD side, there was a Microsoft presentation about the Xbox Series X, and that kind of revealed some information about the next generation AMD GPU. So I thought with Nvidia's announcement coming up next week, I thought it'd be a good time to just wrap everything up. And if you're undecided, why I think you should still wait a little bit longer until AMD comes out with their GPUs before you decide to hit the buy button when Nvidia makes their announcement. Now, before we get into the rest of this video, please help the channel out by clicking on the like button and also subscribing if you want more videos like this, and make sure to check out the other videos about the Nvidia video cards and also the AMD video cards. I'll leave a link in the description below about those. Alright, so let's get straight into it, and I'm going to give 3 reasons why you should wait a little bit longer until AMD also makes their announcement about their video cards, and possibly wait until the reviews for the AMD GPUs also come out before you buy either the Nvidia GPU or the AMD GPU. So I think the first reason why you may want to wait until the AMD GPUs come out is that I think AMD may have a really good GPU this time around. And we know this from the Xbox Series X and the performance that it's supposed to have with the console. And so Microsoft has already stated that it's going to be 12 teraflops, and that's going to be on a GPU of 171 millimeters squared. And we know from last generation AMD had a 251 millimeters squared GPU die. So if it was about the same this time around, you're looking at around 17-18 teraflops of performance on their top card. And it could possibly be higher. We don't know how many compute units will be in their GPU, but if you extrapolate that out, if they do a similar size die, yeah, you're looking at around 3080 performance level at least for their top card. So if you're looking in that sort of ballpark in terms of performance, I think it makes a lot of sense to wait it out and just see how good the AMD GPU may be. If the AMD GPU isn't good, then well, you can go ahead and go and buy the Nvidia GPU. But if they are, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Nvidia to match AMD's price, or vice versa, depending on how they price their cards. Both of those cards are going to be pretty competitive this time around. Now, if you're in the market for a 3090, I think that's a little bit harder to say, because I think AMD may not come out with a card that matches the 3090. But again, we just don't know anything until AMD releases their information. But it's looking as though that AMD will at least have something to be able to compete with the 3070 and the 3080 anyway. So I think if you're looking at that level of performance, it makes a lot of sense to wait and see what products AMD is going to have, because I think again, like you're going to keep the card for at least 3 or 4 years, so I think waiting a couple of months wouldn't make that much of a difference anyways. And besides, Cyberpunk 2077 is going to come out in November, so there's still 2 months to go until that game comes out. So I think the second reason why people should wait until the AMD GPUs come out is because AMD may have some new hardware features and software features that they haven't announced as yet. And as we know, with Nvidia, they have their form of DLSS, which is the deep learning super sampling, where you take a lower resolution picture and turn it into a higher resolution picture with AI. And they also have the ray tracing feature as well. And AMD will probably most likely have something similar for those 2 feature sets. So we already know from Microsoft Xbox Series X presentation and Hot Chips that the console version of the GPU, they already have some form of economical ray tracing. So it's possible that AMD will also have something similar for their Navi 2X cards. So I think it would make a lot of sense before people go rush out and buy the Nvidia GPU, when they should probably just wait a little bit and see how the AMD version performs in real game performance, right? And compare that against the Nvidia solution. So the third reason why I think people should wait until the AMD GPUs come out is so that we can see if there are any issues with the card itself, and also if there are any manufacturing issues with the initial print run of the cards. So with the card issues itself, there have been many issues in the past that people didn't know when they went to pre-order the card. So for example, with the 970, we had that VRAM issue where there was 3.5 gigabytes of fast memory and 500 megabytes of slow memory, but Nvidia advertised it as 4 gigabytes, and it wasn't the same as the 4 gigabyte 980, which had 4 gigabytes of fast memory. And that resulted in a class action lawsuit for Nvidia. It's also a good idea to wait a little bit until the initial print run of the first batch of manufacturing is done, because with the first batch maybe there are defects that they don't really know about that they can then fix for the second run of cards. So one more thing I wanted to add was the allocation of VRAM for their cards between AMD and Nvidia. So I think we roughly know that the Nvidia card will be a 10 gigabyte 3080 card, and we don't know what the equivalent of that for the AMD card, so it could be 12 or 16 gigabytes. And I think it would be advantageous for AMD to have a slight difference in the video memory, so it makes it a little bit harder for them to directly compare between the two cards. So for example, if AMD went with like a 12 gigabyte or a 16 gigabyte equivalent version of a 3080 for their AMD card, then people may consider picking that up because they may find that the 10 gigabytes may not be enough for them. Another reason why you may want to wait before you buy your GPU is maybe you're going to build your whole PC, and in that case you may want to wait until AMD comes out with their new Zen 3 CPUs, which are due out in October and November. Alright, so just to recap, if you're looking at around the 3080 level of performance, it's a good idea to just wait and see what AMD come out with, because it's looking like they're going to come out with a very similar card. And maybe they also have some hardware and software features that will help it in terms of performance. And it's also a good idea to wait in general, just so that we can iron out any issues with the cards themselves and any manufacturing issues that may come with the card. Alright, so if you like this video, make sure to click on the like button, help the channel out by subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.